What happens when you put three vehicles with completely different missions into the same test? On one side, you have the 2026 Toyota Corolla, the compact car built around affordability, efficiency, and everyday practicality. Then there's the 2026 Nissan Sentra, Nissan's aggressively priced compact sedan, promising more refinement and up to 38 miles per gallon on the highway. And finally, towering over both is the 2026 Toyota Land Cruiser 250, a rugged four-wheel drive SUV with a 2.4-liter turbocharged hybrid powertrain producing 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. These cars aren't really supposed to compete, and that's exactly why this test gets interesting. Because the question isn't simply which one is faster, more comfortable, or more capable. The real question is, which one gives you the most vehicle for the money, and which one makes you spend thousands of dollars on capability you may never use? The price gap is enormous. The 2026 Corolla starts around $23,125, while the Sentra starts at $22,600, making both accessible choices for normal daily transportation. The Land Cruiser, meanwhile, starts around the high $50,000 range depending on the configuration, putting it in an entirely different financial universe. But numbers on a specification sheet don't tell the whole story. We drove them through city streets, open highways, tight corners, rough surfaces, and situations where each vehicle's strengths and weaknesses became impossible to hide. Number 1. 2026 Toyota Corolla, the quiet money saver. Let's start with the vehicle that doesn't need to impress you with size, horsepower, or an intimidating badge. The 2026 Toyota Corolla. Toyota has built the Corolla around a simple philosophy. Give buyers a practical car that handles everyday transportation without demanding a fortune to purchase or operate. The 2026 Corolla starts at $23,125 in the US, and Toyota offers both gasoline and hybrid powertrains, with the hybrid reaching up to an estimated 50 miles per gallon combined, depending on configuration. That immediately changes the economics of this comparison. You aren't buying a giant SUV to drive 3 miles to work. You're buying a compact sedan designed to make commuting, shopping, parking, and highway driving relatively painless. The gas Corolla's 2.0-liter four-cylinder produces 169 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque, while Toyota estimates up to 32 miles per gallon city, 41 miles per gallon highway, and 35 miles per gallon combined for the gas version. Behind the wheel, the Corolla feels predictable, controlled, and easy to place on the road. It doesn't have the dramatic acceleration of the Land Cruiser, but that's hardly the point. In traffic, its compact dimensions become an advantage. Parking spaces that make the Land Cruiser driver hesitate are almost irrelevant in the Corolla. Narrow streets feel less intimidating, and everyday fuel consumption can be dramatically lower. The interior isn't trying to become a luxury lounge either. Instead, it focuses on technology, usability, and straightforward ergonomics. Available features include a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, while Toyota continues to emphasize the Corolla's balance of technology and dependability. But here's where the Corolla begins to reveal its limitations. It doesn't have the commanding driving position of the Land Cruiser. It can't tow or crawl over difficult terrain like the Land Cruiser. And if you're expecting effortless passing power with a heavy load, you may wish for more muscle. Yet when we considered how most owners actually use their cars, the Corolla suddenly made a lot of sense. You're paying for transportation, not a fantasy version of your lifestyle. And that distinction becomes extremely important later. Number 2. 2026 Nissan Sentra, the challenger that wants your attention. Now comes the 2026 Nissan Sentra, and this is where the comparison gets much closer. Nissan redesigned the Sentra for 2026 with a focus on making the compact sedan feel more sophisticated without abandoning its affordable positioning. Its US starting price is $22,600, while higher trims climb toward $28,000 before destination charges. Under the hood sits a 2.0-liter four-cylinder producing 149 horsepower and 146 pound-feet of torque, paired with a CVT and front-wheel drive. Nissan advertises fuel economy as high as 30 miles per gallon city and 38 miles per gallon highway, depending on configuration. On paper, the Sentra doesn't look dramatically different from the Corolla's mission, but Nissan clearly wanted this generation to feel more upscale. The cabin can feature a 12.3-inch infotainment display and a 12.3-inch digital instrument display, while upper trims can add premium touches such as quilted seating and available Bose audio. During our comparison, the Sentra's biggest advantage became obvious: value. You can spend relatively little money and still get a compact sedan with modern technology, comfortable seating, strong fuel economy, and an upscale-looking cabin. Nissan has also earned the 2026 Sentra an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus designation, giving the car another serious selling point. But there is a catch. The Sentra's 149 horsepower doesn't transform it into a performance sedan. Push it hard, and you quickly discover that acceleration isn't its strongest weapon. The CVT is designed more around efficiency and smoothness than excitement. Compared with the Corolla, the Sentra can feel like the more ambitious alternative, but the Toyota's reputation for efficiency and long-term dependability remains a major part of its appeal. So now we have an interesting situation. The Sentra can undercut the Corolla on starting price, while the Corolla offers a hybrid option capable of exceptional fuel economy. Neither needs $60,000 to accomplish the basic job of getting you from point A to point B. And that brings us to the vehicle that completely changes the definition of what getting from point A to point B means. Number 3. 2026 Toyota Land Cruiser 250, the giant question mark. Then the 2026 Toyota Land Cruiser 250 arrives, and suddenly the Corolla and Sentra look like completely different species. The Land Cruiser isn't designed simply to commute between home and work. Toyota built this machine around off-road capability, durability, four-wheel drive, and adventure. The 2026 U.S. market Land Cruiser uses a 2.4-liter turbocharged I-Force Max hybrid powertrain producing 326 net combined horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. It comes with full-time four-wheel drive, and Toyota gives it serious off-road hardware, including center and rear locking differentials, crawl control, and available multi-terrain select. Fuel economy is estimated around 22 miles per gallon city and 25 miles per gallon highway, or 23 miles per gallon combined, depending on configuration. And this is where the Land Cruiser destroys the other two vehicles, not in fuel economy or purchase price, but in capability. Put it on difficult terrain, and the comparison suddenly becomes unfair. The Corolla and Sentra are road cars. The Land Cruiser is an SUV engineered to leave the road. Its full-time four-wheel drive system, locking differentials, crawl control, and available stabilizer disconnect mechanism give it capabilities the two sedans simply cannot replicate. Inside, however, the Land Cruiser also tries to justify its premium with modern equipment. Depending on trim, buyers can get features such as a 12.3-inch multimedia touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, heated and ventilated front seats, and Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. But here's the uncomfortable question. How often will you actually use all of this capability? If your daily life consists of commuting, grocery shopping, school runs, and highway trips, the Land Cruiser's extraordinary hardware may spend most of its life sleeping beneath the vehicle. You're paying for serious off-road engineering even when you're sitting in traffic. And that is exactly why this vehicle could be either the smartest purchase in the comparison or the biggest waste of money. Number 4. Toyota Corolla versus Nissan Sentra, the real daily driver battle. Forget the Land Cruiser for a moment. Put the Corolla and Sentra side by side on an ordinary weekday, and the competition becomes fascinating. Both are compact sedans. Both are designed for people who care about purchase price, fuel economy, comfort, and practicality. The Corolla has the advantage of Toyota's available hybrid system, which can deliver up to 50 miles per gallon combined in the right configuration. The Sentra counters with a low starting price of $22,600 and a cabin that can feel surprisingly premium in higher trims. The question becomes less about which car has the bigger number and more about what kind of owner you're dealing with. If fuel savings are your priority and you drive a lot of miles, the Corolla Hybrid becomes extremely compelling. If you want maximum equipment for a relatively low entry price, the Sentra deserves serious consideration. The Corolla also offers a 169 horsepower 2.0-liter gas engine, giving it a slight horsepower advantage over the Sentra's 149 horsepower engine. But horsepower isn't everything. The Sentra's interior technology and upscale presentation can make it feel more expensive than its price suggests. Nissan's available 12.3-inch displays are especially impressive at this price point. The Corolla, meanwhile, wins by being incredibly straightforward. Nothing about it screams that you're trying to prove something. It simply does its job. And that's actually one of the most important lessons from this test. The cheapest vehicle isn't necessarily the cheapest to own, and the most expensive vehicle isn't necessarily the best value. The Corolla and Sentra are competing inside a world where small differences matter. A few MPG here, a few $1,000s there, a better infotainment system, a better warranty experience, or stronger resale expectations can change the equation. But once the Land Cruiser enters the picture, the financial gap becomes so massive that the definition of value completely changes. Number 5. Land Cruiser versus Corolla, capability versus common sense. This was the moment when the comparison became almost absurd. The Corolla slips through traffic quietly, while the Land Cruiser towers over it. The Corolla is optimized for efficiency. The Land Cruiser is optimized for traction and terrain. The Corolla can deliver up to 50 miles per gallon combined in hybrid form, while the Land Cruiser is estimated around 23 miles per gallon combined. That's not a small difference. Over thousands of miles, fuel consumption becomes a meaningful ownership factor. But the Land Cruiser gives you something the Corolla cannot buy at any price: genuine off-road capability from the factory. Its full-time 4WD, locking differentials, crawl control, and terrain management systems are designed for situations where a Corolla simply should not go. Imagine two owners. Owner A lives in a city, drives to an office every morning, visits supermarkets, takes occasional highway trips, and rarely encounters anything rougher than a pothole. For that person, the Land Cruiser's capability is almost completely unnecessary. Owner B lives near trails, frequently travels through snow, sand, mud, rocks, or remote areas, and genuinely needs dependable off-road performance. For that owner, the Land Cruiser isn't a waste of money at all. It could be exactly the right tool. That's why calling the Land Cruiser bad value would be unfair. The problem occurs when someone buys capability they don't need. A Land Cruiser isn't expensive simply because Toyota put a fancy badge on it. It carries expensive engineering design to do things the Corolla and Sentra were never intended to do. The mistake is confusing capability with value. A winch doesn't make a commuter car better. A 4WD system doesn't make a grocery run more efficient. And 326 horsepower doesn't automatically make a vehicle smarter to own. The Land Cruiser is a specialized tool. If you use the tool, the price makes sense. If you don't, you're carrying around thousands of dollars of unused capability. Number 6. Nissan Sentra versus Land Cruiser, the most brutal price difference. Now we reach the most dramatic financial comparison of the entire test. The 2026 Nissan Sentra starts at $22,600, while the 2026 Land Cruiser begins in the high $50,000 range depending on the exact pricing source, trim, and destination charges. Toyota's 2026 announcement listed a $57,200 starting MSRP, while current Toyota regional listings show $57,600 for the Land Cruiser 1958 and $63,675 for the higher Land Cruiser trim. That's a gigantic difference for buyers who simply need transportation. You could essentially look at the Sentra and Land Cruiser and ask, what exactly are you buying with the extra money? The answer isn't simply leather seats or a larger screen. You're buying a completely different platform: turbocharged hybrid power, full-time four-wheel drive, locking differentials, off-road suspension hardware, crawl control, and the ability to travel into environments where the Sentra should never be taken. But if you're never going there, those advantages become theoretical. And that's where the Sentra looks incredibly strong. It gives you 5 seats, front-wheel drive, modern technology, up to 38 miles per gallon highway, and 149 horsepower, while remaining dramatically cheaper to purchase. The Corolla attacks the same problem from another direction, offering Toyota's hybrid efficiency and a starting price around $23,125. In other words, both compact sedans are trying to minimize the cost of everyday transportation. The Land Cruiser is trying to maximize capability. Neither philosophy is inherently wrong. But if someone buys a Land Cruiser simply because they want a big Toyota for city driving, the economics become difficult to defend. You're not paying for a bigger version of a Corolla. You're paying for an entirely different machine. Number 7. Comfort, technology, and everyday living. Once the engines stop roaring and the roads become ordinary, comfort and technology become more important. The Corolla keeps things simple, with available modern digital technology and Toyota's familiar approach to ergonomics. The Sentra takes a more aggressive approach to interior presentation, offering available dual 12.3-inch displays and upscale seating features on higher trims. The Land Cruiser takes the premium experience further, offering available heated and ventilated front seats, a 12.3-inch multimedia display, wireless smartphone integration, and other features designed to make a rugged SUV feel comfortable every day. But there is another factor that specifications don't show: physical size. The Land Cruiser gives you a commanding driving position and a substantial road presence. Some drivers love that feeling. Others discover that a large SUV becomes exhausting in crowded parking lots and narrow urban streets. The Corolla is almost the opposite. It's easy to place, easy to park, and doesn't make everyday driving feel like an operation. The Sentra sits somewhere between those extremes. It provides the sedan advantages of easier maneuverability while attempting to deliver a more premium cabin experience. This is where our test exposed something interesting. The vehicle that feels most expensive isn't always the vehicle that makes daily life easiest. The Land Cruiser's interior can make you feel like you're driving something special, but the Corolla can make a difficult parking space disappear. The Sentra can make a modest budget feel less restrictive. And when you spend hundreds of hours behind the wheel every year, those small conveniences matter. The best vehicle isn't necessarily the one that wins a specification sheet. It's the one that fits your actual routine. That's the theme running through this entire comparison, and it's about to determine our final verdict. Number 8. The hidden cost of buying more vehicle than you need. Here's the trap. Automotive advertising constantly encourages us to buy more. More horsepower, more space, more capability, more technology, more ground clearance, more presence. But more vehicle also means more money tied up in the purchase. The Land Cruiser's starting price is roughly 2.5 times the starting price of the Corolla or Sentra, depending on configuration. And that's before considering insurance, fuel, tires, financing, maintenance, and opportunity cost. Meanwhile, the Corolla can deliver remarkable fuel efficiency in hybrid form, while the Sentra focuses on keeping the initial purchase price low and offering strong highway economy. This doesn't mean the Land Cruiser is unreliable or poorly engineered. Quite the opposite. The entire point of the Land Cruiser is to provide a level of capability that compact sedans cannot approach. The mistake would be buying it without needing those capabilities. Imagine spending $60,000 plus on a vehicle and then using it almost exclusively for a 15-minute commute. That's like buying professional construction equipment to hang a picture frame. It works, but the economics are questionable. The Corolla and Sentra don't create that same problem because their missions are much closer to what most people actually do every day. They are compact, efficient, relatively affordable transportation tools. The Land Cruiser is an adventure machine that happens to be comfortable enough for daily use. That distinction matters enormously. If you regularly tow, explore trails, drive through serious snow, travel into remote areas, or simply demand genuine off-road capability, the Land Cruiser earns its premium. But if your biggest daily challenge is finding a parking space at the supermarket, the Corolla or Sentra could save you a tremendous amount of money while accomplishing almost everything you need. Number 9. And the winner is. After putting these three vehicles through the same thought experiment, the winner depends on what you're actually trying to accomplish. But one vehicle clearly emerges as the best overall value for the average buyer, the 2026 Toyota Corolla. It's not the most powerful. It isn't the most luxurious. It certainly isn't the most capable off-road. But that's precisely why it wins. Its starting price is around $23,125. It offers gas and hybrid powertrains, and the hybrid can reach up to 50 miles per gallon combined. For someone who wants affordable, efficient, everyday transportation, that's an extremely difficult combination to ignore. The Nissan Sentra comes incredibly close. Its $22,600 starting price is even lower. It offers up to 38 miles per gallon highway, and its available technology makes it feel surprisingly sophisticated for the money. If your priority is maximizing features and keeping the purchase price low, the Sentra is arguably the most interesting bargain of the group. But the Land Cruiser wins a completely different category. It is the undisputed capability champion. With 326 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque, full-time four-wheel drive, locking differentials, crawl control, and terrain management technology, it offers genuine off-road ability that neither sedan can even approach. So is the Land Cruiser the huge waste of money? For the average city commuter, yes, potentially. But for someone who actually needs its capabilities, absolutely not. The biggest waste of money isn't buying an expensive vehicle. It's buying a vehicle whose capabilities you never use. And that brings us to the final lesson of this test. Don't buy the biggest vehicle you can afford. Buy the vehicle that solves your problems. For many people, that's the Corolla. For others, it's the Sentra. And for a very specific group of drivers, nothing in this comparison can replace the Land Cruiser.